that's where we're different. We got different trauma. So you can't really look through my eyes because you do things different.
You that much?
No, do I look bothered?
Yeah.
I'm bothered.
Actually, you do.
What I'm bothered about is you're speaking in front of people confidently and you don't have the experience or the knowledge. And also, I'm afraid that white people think that we act like you.
Dame Dash is in the hospital after Charlamagne Tha God allegedly attacked him backstage, minutes after the cameras stopped rolling on that Scorched Earth Breakfast Club interview. Tuesday morning's broadcast wasn't even cold before word leaked that Dash had gone from the studio to a medical facility with what his team spun as a health event. But two production sources insist Dash was shaken and had visible marks. The air was thick with tension from the second Dame told Charlamagne live that he was part of the LGBTQ+ community. Nothing about that exchange played like radio theater. Every muscle in the room twitched on cue, with co-hosts barely holding back giggles or gasps as Dash laid into Charlamagne's masculinity, his paper planes shirt, and for good measure, his entire sexuality, point blank. By 9:45 a.m., insiders say, the interview was already flagged internally at iHeartRadio. Management huddled for emergency edits, and at least two sponsors called in, threatening to pull dollars if the segment aired uncut.
Craig, because when you say kids, I was like, and it ain't no disrespect, but I kind of think you're gay. You just act a little gay.
Got a problem with gay people?
Not at all. I've got a problem with people that pretend they're not gay.
2 hours after Dash's chairman of Revolt TV flex already disputed in real time by a Revolt publicist on X, security at the studio found themselves locking down the main hallway. According to 3 staffers with direct knowledge, Dame stormed off set, yelling, "He's not gonna talk to me like that off camera." The security cam footage, which executives have not released, reportedly shows raised voices and physical posturing. Multiple employees were ordered to stay at their desks, while one engineer claims Charlamagne was pulled aside by handlers, visibly fuming. "He's not gonna get away with this." The clip went up on YouTube hours later, chopped of its most savage exchanges, but viewers noticed the sharp cut after Dash's threat. "I can punch you right in your face like a grown man and you won't do shit." The comment section lit up, thousands demanding to know what the network was hiding.
So let me tell you why.
But what if
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why.
This is hilarious. I love what you're doing. This is hilarious.
So what I'm saying is, you might, because you started in gossip, which is, is very feminine, and you are acting like, there's some degree of like, you want people to listen to you, and that we want people that represent masculinity, because men need to be doing what they need to do as men. They don't need to be worried about girl stuff.
By noon, every tabloid in New York had caught wind of the hospital angle. A rep for Dame called it routine, then hung up on follow-up calls. The narrative coming out of Power 105.1 was even more convenient: a brief health issue and nothing related to today's programming. But 2 senior show staff say Dash didn't look sick. He looked like he'd been in a fight. Bruises, limping, jacket over his arm, just gone, one claims, pointing to a trail of blood on the hallway floor that somebody mopped before lunch. The money question isn't about ego, it's about liability. If there was violence backstage, and if Charlamagne is at fault, the network is exposed to lawsuits, sponsor withdrawals, and maybe even a late-night police visit. Behind closed doors, the station's legal team started dialing up non-disclosure agreements for staffers. Just hours after the brawl, not a coincidence, the hospital beatdown rumor didn't start in the barbershops, it started in the network's own cafeteria. 3 label veterans who've known Dame since the Rockefeller days swear this wasn't a fainting spell. It was payback, a humiliation gone nuclear. "He ran his mouth, and Charlamagne just snapped," one says. At least one associate who visited Dame at the hospital posted, and quickly deleted a story showing Dash bandaged up and angry as hell. An iHeartRadio memo circulated quietly by 4:30 p.m. warning all staff not to discuss any backstage incident related to this morning's broadcast. Try to find a doctor willing to comment on Dash's supposed medical emergency. Nobody is talking. Not a single attending physician is on the record. Even the hospital's press office went dark, referring calls to the artist's personal attorney.
I've never heard you say one thing bad about Jay-Z, not one.
He's not in the room. You shouldn't talk about him.
Don't tell me what to do.
You said you shouldn't talk about men
Now
when they're not in the room.
You're interrupting me.
Now you're doing the girl stuff.
I know him. I'm giving you an example, right?
You used to know him.
Can I talk?
Every legal muscle in Charlamagne's orbit is twitching now. A former road manager claims off the record that one influential host is already preparing to spin this as a setup, with Dame as the instigator, the snitch, and the guy who went running to Instagram for sympathy points. He went out there, called him homosexual, said he would punch him, and now he wants to cry foul? Charlamagne's fans are already echoing that line, posting receipts from the interview where Dame clearly threatened to go physical. Network handlers are praying that the lack of clear footage will keep police from knocking. but it's too late for silence. There are now persistent whispers that the NYPD has already taken statements and that Charlamagne could be facing real criminal exposure if any of the injuries stick. That's not a PR hiccup, that's career-altering, mugshot on the front page territory, the kind of scandal that could actually get someone suspended or fired. Just as pressure started to reach boiling, the rumors took a whole new turn. According to two label insiders, the lady who cornered Charlamagne on air isn't done. She's reportedly furious about the fallout and is threatening to leak compromising footage, an intimate tape no less, showing Charlamagne in a situation with another man. That's the bomb that hasn't dropped yet. The blackmail talk is already bouncing between PR firms, with handlers on both sides gearing up for scorched earth. At least one message screenshotted and circulating in private DMs has a lady promising if he thinks he can put hands on people and walk away, I'll burn his whole house down. The network hasn't confirmed any footage, but paranoia is running wild. You can't buy this kind of leverage in Hollywood, unless, of course, someone wants to make sure a warrant gets issued and a mugshot lands before the weekend. And if Charlamagne thought the worst part of this scandal was being called homosexual on air, he might want to keep his head down because nobody's ruling out a midnight arrest.
Like, your OG is Wendy Williams. My OG is sitting right here. You see him? Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna tell you why he's my OG. Because he anybody or any of those things. He just taught me how to be a better man.
Wendy not my OG.
Can you
That's
stop?
Funny, though.
Can you stop?
Wendy Williams is your OG.
Wasn't she your boss?
From the moment Dame Dash marched out of the hospital, the whispers around Revolt TV started moving faster than the ambulance. If Dame was bruised but not broken, why did he suddenly announce himself as chairman for a month, and only for a month, on a network that publicly denied it hours later? Two industry insiders, both close to the Revolt board, call this a payoff in plain sight. They claim the 1 month title is hush money wrapped in a LinkedIn update, a way to save face, buy his silence, and sweep any backroom brawl under a mountain of corporate ND. On paper, Dame gets to say he's boss, content gets plugged, and nobody looks too closely at the timeline between the interview, the alleged fight, and the Insta post. It all lines up a little too conveniently for coincidence. The real question here isn't whether Dame ever truly sat in a big chair at Revolt. It's why every single staffer went on social media within hours to spike his claim, leaving him out in the cold. Are they protecting a brand or something much darker? That's when the lady started plotting her own revenge. Multiple sources with direct ties to the production insist she's not just angry, she's incandescent, and she's got receipts. For days, rumor after rumor has piled up about the so-called compromising video of Charlamagne, one that allegedly shows him with another man. The lady, described by one rival PR as a walking threat to dynasties, has supposedly been fielding offers from at least 3 digital outlets hungry for the footage. Nobody in the business has seen the tape, but the thread itself has already sent waves through Charlamagne's inner circle. There's no dollar figure that can shut her up now, says a network publicist, who adds that legal teams are monitoring DMS like the NSA. Charlamagne's handlers may have hoped a quick payout could keep Dame on mute, but there's no spreadsheet big enough to buy off a woman with nothing left to lose. This isn't just blackmail, it's personal, and it's about to go nuclear if a single link escapes.
Anyway, the difference between you and I don't think you're a proper representation of the masculine black man. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you guys are.
I'm listening. Okay.
The internet didn't wait for the dust to settle. Fans split into 2 armies before lunch. Dame's detractors took to X, calling him the ultimate snitch, the man who can dish it out but can't take the heat. They're combing through old clips, stitching together every moment he's thrown someone else under the bus, building a highlight reel of hypocrisy. One trending tag, Dame the Deflector, clocked over 6 million impressions by sunset, as fans and haters posted side-by-side shots. Dame in the hospital, Charlamagne at a club, both men playing for sympathy, but selling out their pride. Meanwhile, Charlamagne's camp went on the offensive, firing off think pieces about character assassination, false rumors, and what they call the culture of accusation. Anyone defending Dame got buried in replies, called a sellout or worse. He's always been a manipulator, one longtime industry blogger posted, and now he's crying wolf. It's pure chaos, real-time, unscripted, no fact checks, just millions of opinions clashing in the digital coliseum. Even brands that once advertised on Power 1051 are rethinking their deals, according to a leaked memo from a beverage sponsor who flagged the risk of being caught in the crossfire.
You know what I'm saying? So when I hear things about Dame, it seems like people only tell the bad side because the person who has the most money is on the other side. That's the part I don't like, you know? So when I hear certain things, I don't like it. And I would want to know.
Dame Dash's reputation games have been an open secret for years, but never have they looked quite so high stakes as now. The same week he was allegedly assaulted behind the scenes, court records confirmed yet another round of debt claims dogging his name. Civil suits over unpaid bills, rumors about investors bailing, and whispers that his empire is more nostalgia than cash flow. For a man once seen as the very face of brash, independent wealth in hip-hop, the turn from mogul to embattled outsider isn't just dramatic, it's motive on a silver platter. Each new controversy isn't just a headline, it's a lifeline, a way to shove himself back onto the main stage when the business pages won't do it for him. Psychologists who track celebrity meltdowns point out that when reputations are on the line, the first move isn't always defense, it's to launch a preemptive strike. For Dame, putting Charlamagne in the crosshairs with pointed accusations and on-air threats does more than startle his old adversaries. It puts the spotlight exactly where he needs it, on someone even more polarizing. Someone with everything to lose. Dame's playbook, say image experts, is to turn victimhood into strategy, muddying the narrative until nobody can tell who threw the first punch. His recent pattern, aggressive interviews, dramatic walkouts, cryptic social posts, tracks with a veteran operator who knows how to milk chaos for sympathy and fresh relevance.
Feel about them guys talking about Damon Dash, a fellow Harlem guy, since you're from Harlem.
Who was talking about him?
Steve Stout and Shannon Sharp.
Oh, I did see that.
But there's a risk in weaponizing controversy as a comeback tool. With every escalation, Dame bets that the audience cares more about the spectacle than the court documents, more about his sound bites than his balance sheet. Yet as bankruptcy filings and unpaid judgments pile up, there's an undercurrent that even his loudest moves are just smoke for deeper troubles. Industry insiders point to a string of abandoned partnerships and unfulfilled media launches in the past 12 months, all of which faded quietly while Dame pivoted to his next public clash. If these drama cycles are a distraction from decline, the stakes are bigger than just reputation. They're about survival. Charlamagne supporters argue that Dame's stunts have become a well-worn act, citing how each controversy times itself just as another financial embarrassment threatens to break into the news cycle. There's a sense that Dash, once the architect of his own fortune, is now playing the villain because being hated is still better than being irrelevant. The psychology is unmistakable. Create enough chaos and people will forget to ask why you needed it in the first place. If Dash is angling for a reset, a fresh round of deals, a seat at a new table, then every minute of viral drama becomes a currency of its own.
So we just looked down because we just were a little more evolved. Because we were looking to be the best. Not the best black, the best everything.
Still, for all the speculation, one fact remains. Dame's latest maneuvers have put him right back at the center of the cultural conversation, for better or worse. The gambit is as old as the industry itself. Turn your lowest moment into someone else's crisis and maybe you get another shot at the spotlight. Whether this is desperation or genius is still up for debate, but what's clear is that Dash is gambling with every chip he has left, and this time, the house is watching, a little too closely for comfort. As the battle lines hardened, the drama bled into every corner of the culture. More than a dozen hip-hop podcasts pivoted entire episodes to the fallout, weighing Dame's reputation against Charlamagne's, replaying every threat, every insult, every side-eye. Even the old guard chimed in. A veteran executive from Def Jam called it the ugliest meltdown since the Rockefeller split, quietly, behind the memes and the memes of memes. People started asking what really matters. Was this just two men crashing under their own egos, or something bigger, a real power shift at the heart of hip-hop media? If Revolt's credibility can be sold for a month-long face-saving stunt, how stable is the whole game? Beneath all the noise, the legal clouds keep gathering. As of Thursday, lawyers for both camps are playing chess with subpoenas and PR moves. One partner at a midtown law firm who's repped more than a few Breakfast Club regulars claims the station is on alert for a police inquiry. The NYPD hasn't confirmed any investigation, but the threat alone is enough to have executives checking their phone every 5 minutes. If a warrant does surface, it won't just be Charlamagne's face on a website. It'll be a test case for the industry, a sign that even the untouchable can go down in a viral second. If Dame's injuries turn out to be more than a minor health scare, as one nurse allegedly told her cousin, there's a real chance of a criminal complaint and maybe even a courtroom showdown. What started as a radio spat could end up dragging half of urban radio into the legal system.
Speaking of Puffy, what was the issue between Mace and Jay?
I don't remember. I really don't. I don't remember. I just remember when he went with Puff, and he went from like Mace Mussolini to like the shiny suits, and I felt that was a contradiction of who I knew from like Children of the Corn.
And don't count out the lady. Her game isn't just revenge, it's exposure. People close to her say she's been fielding calls from everyone with a budget and a grudge. At least one entertainment lawyer floated a sum in the six-figure range to buy exclusive rights to the tape, but so far she's holding out for maximum damage. If that footage sees daylight, Charlamagne could lose his show, his sponsorship, maybe even his marriage. For all the noise about Dame and his chairmanship, the lady could be the one to topple the whole tower, making every deal, every NDA, look like so much window dressing on a broken storefront. When a scandal this radioactive is just sitting in someone's phone, the whole culture has to hold its breath. Who blinks first? Who leaks first?
Now, a lot of people wait till you get it together to come out and say, like,
no, it was. I gotta address Cam. Okay, I gotta get back at Cam right now. I can't wait.
Yeah, but they've been going back and forth for some time.
Meanwhile, power brokers are scrambling to get ahead of the next blow. According to two rival producers, Revolt executives called an emergency summit late Thursday with the aim of minimizing brand exposure and containing personnel risk. Nobody mentioned the word cover-up, but the vibe in the room was pure crisis control. Less about the artists, more about ad dollars and liability. If even a hint of physical violence or personal scandal gets officially linked to a studio, the fallout could terminate more than one contract. It's not just about egos, it's about dollars, access, and the fear of being next. The more they try to hide, the harder the truth wants to get out.
You know what's bugging me out?
What do you mean act like him? I just want you to.
Yeah, I want to know.
I'm gonna say so. The way you keep interrupting me, the way you keep saying things that aren't true but don't know.
Like what? What did I say that's not true?
Let me say what I'm saying. I was still talking. Okay. So, because when y'all do that, I forget what I'm gonna say because I be like that.
You're not saying.
At this point, the story's gone well past anyone's control. 3 possible disasters loom over the horizon. A mugshot splashed across every feed, a scandalous video blasted out to millions, or the complete collapse of a network that once sold itself as the new voice of the culture. Each day brings a fresh rumor, a new screenshot, a new source with an even darker claim. All that's left is for one domino to fall, and nobody knows which way the wind will blow. Is this the meltdown that finally cracks the whole system? Or just another viral brawl in the endless war for clicks and clout? So what do you think? Will Charlamagne get dragged out in cuffs? Will Dame drop the next bomb? Or will the lady's footage torch everything we thought we knew? Tell us below who you believe, whose side you're on, and what you think comes next. Because in this game, the next headline could break before breakfast. Stay locked, stay wild, and keep your receipts. Because this saga is just getting started. At you in the comments if you dare.